Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of VGU Talks and Let's Talk Games. Today we're talking about what we can expect from a title I am really looking forward to seeing more of. It's Transformers Devastation. This game was revealed back at E3 and holy crap, Activision have teamed up with Platinum and they're giving us a Transformers game which is going back to G1. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say G1, I mean the first generation of Transformers, the originals, the ones that made the series as huge as it is now. And for me personally, that's pretty awesome. And so there are two videos that are online that I want to go over, analyse, as well as talk about as well. One of them was an interview during a live demonstration of Transformers Devastation that was done with the Sony guys at E3, and one being a general gameplay trailer that does showcase a wad more of the different enemies we could be going up against in the game. So what did we see from the live coverage and what did we hear from the developers involved? Well, first things first, transformation attacks. These attacks will help you prolong your combo, and basically in mid-combo, you can switch between being in robot mode to vehicle mode and back to robot mode again. An interesting trick to this as well is there seem to be different moves that use different capabilities of the Autobots. So for example, if you're playing as Optimus Prime, you can start off a combo by just beating the crap out of a Decepticon and then transform into a lorry and swing or bash into them as a lorry and then transform back into robot mode. But now Optimus Prime has his beam axe and he starts attacking with his beam axe and the combo just keeps going and going from ground level up into the air and back down again. They look insane. They're so fast paced as well. An interesting thing, a light comes on the Autobot, and this seems to identify when the best time is to transform, or maybe even build up speed in order to commit to a longer and more deadly combo. And this was something that the developers came out with. Speed seems to be a very important mechanic in the game. The more speed that you build up, the more chances that you're going to have to build up an insane combo, as well as build up dodges at the last minute and maybe even build up your power advantages. And I'm guessing speed is going to play a very big part when you're switching in between robot mode and vehicle mode. So I'm looking forward to how that's really going to play out as a micromanaging tool. Now, as well as melee attacks, you're also going to have ranged attacks. We saw a couple of different Autobots using their own unique styles of ranged attacks, both in robot and vehicle mode, so that's a great way to just pound down at people at long range. Maybe even keep a combo going while you switch in between from robot to vehicle mode to then get to your opponent and then just keep smashing them again. That just looks great. Now, the one thing you're definitely going to see from the gameplay that you're seeing on screen now is that the big difference here between any other Transformers game, at least to my knowledge that we've seen, is that this is extremely fast combat, and I mean extremely fast. The Transformers have never seemed to move this fast, and if you look back at the original G1 cartoons, the battles are very clunky, very hard-hitting and very slow, and as well as that, most of the battles can be summed up as ranged battles with laser guns, and that's about it. However, in the game, not just are you going to get your laser gun fights, but those melee battles are insane. This truly shows that Platinum are the guys behind making this game work. No one else does character action games like Platinum does. Now, one other thing involving the attacks is that there seems to be an ability to use charge attacks. Whether this involves your speed, as I said earlier or not, wasn't confirmed, but it seems that in mid-combo you'll be able to charge a certain attack that will have a certain effect on your opponent. Whether that be slam them down if they're in the air, swing them away if they're too close to you, smash them up against a wall. The list seems to be endless on that front. Then I saw something that really blew my mind. My favourite Decepticon from the original G1 era was Soundwave. He had the little discs inside of him that would also come out, transform and fight alongside him. Soundwave was my main man, and he's in the game as a boss, and holy crap does his boss fight look crazy. The arena itself moves as if it is a Soundwave board coming at you, which is already looking very themed and very well done. But as well as that, in this boss fight, by the looks of things, you're not just fighting Soundwave, you're also fighting two of his most famous, and I would gladly say his most popular Decepticon disc units. And we're talking about Laserbeak and Ravage. Laserbeak being the original scouting pterodactyl style Decepticon that would normally go out ahead and scout out and see what's happening around the places, and he's called Laserbeak for a reason. He has lasers and a beak. Ravage being the wolf Decepticon that just likes to pounce things, rip things to shreds, and together with Soundwave, this boss fight might just be the best boss fight in the game. Yet again, haven't seen many others, but boy, Soundwave, yes. Thank you, Platinum, for making Soundwave look this amazing. Also in the game, there seems to be pickups. Now, these pickups, it's unsure to see what these pickups are. They could be health, they could be speed boosting or special bar boost. They could be in-game currency, so you might be able to buy stuff in between missions maybe, or maybe even a temporary buff for your character, whether it increases attack damage, defensive capabilities, increases the amount of speed that you have so you don't have to constantly be switching in between robot mode and vehicle mode too often. Uncertain as to what these pickups are, there are possibilities for many different outcomes on that front. Now, as well as this being on the gameplay side, they were also taking some questions about the game, and one of the questions that I generally had for a long time has been answered. The story is focused on Autobots, so sadly we're not going to be able to play as Decepticons, at least for now. Maybe DLC in the future, who knows, but at least with this game it's focused on the Autobots. You'll be able to play with 5 different Autobots, these being Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Sideswipe, Wheeljack and Grimlock. Really happy to see all these old school guys back, especially Sideswipe and Wheeljack, that I think needs some more airtime. But Grimlock? If you don't know who Grimlock is the original Dinobot that made G1 amazing. I'm happy to see Grimlock. However, it's key to note, there is no gameplay of Grimlock so far. So whether they're keeping that hush-hush, or whether they haven't actually made any gameplay for Grimlock yet, that's interesting. Because I want to see Grimlock both in Dino mode and in his robot mode. They even said that in the first stage of the game, you will be switching between all the different Autobots to see how they all play out, all their combos, and see who you like. And then from every mission afterwards, you'll be able to pick and choose which Autobot you would like to play as, which is really cool, because now you'll be able to play any mission with any Autobot past the first mission. And I'm guessing that there'll be a capability to go back to that first mission and maybe just play as one Autobot throughout it. Who knows? This now raises a question. Does this mean that all the Autobots have their own individual level ups? Do they even level up in the first place? Do they have RPG elements on top of them? Who knows? We'll have to keep our eyes out for that one. Interesting to note as well, it was Activision that actually came up with this idea, and the first development team that they had in mind for it were Platinum. Great idea, Activision. If you want a character action game done right, you hand it to the big boys, and Platinum have proven they know how to do a character action game. They even said that there were going to be 5 levels of difficulty, some of which are going to be unlockable, and I'm guessing there's going to be the even harder difficulties on the list, and that's awesome. That's something to go towards and fight for, and it's going to look great. And the game itself is coming out this fall, so we don't have to wait too long to get our hands on some G1 action. Now that was everything I got from the live coverage. I also got some other things from the gameplay trailer. Now first things first, what I noticed from the gameplay trailer, the soundtrack is classic Platinum Games. Metal as hell, and I love it to pieces. Just something to headbang at while you're wrecking metal on metal. I love it. It's also key to note that whilst I was looking through the gameplay trailer, there were some iconic Decepticons that I managed to have a look at. Obviously, we have Megatron, we have Starscream, we have Soundwave, we have the Constructicons that are able to form up and create Devastator, which is one of the big mega Decepticons that takes a lot of control over the theme of Transformers Devastation. Now, I also managed to see Kickback, which is one of the original Insecticons, which raises a question, are the other Insecticons in here as well? That's a very interesting thing. It's only a very short clip where you see Kickback, and if you don't know who Kickback is, he's the Decepticon that transforms into a grasshopper, and so it's very interesting to see whether the other Insecticons are going to be in here as well, as I really admired the G1 Insecticons. We also have the return of Shockwave, which was an iconic character from the original series, as well as Thundercracker. Thundercracker was the blue variant of Starscream and one of Starscream's brothers, so it would be interesting as to whether all the other Starscream and Thundercracker variants are in there, because all of them have their own different capabilities, their own different weapons, and their own different personalities as well. Starscream's obviously being the most iconic. Another thing to note that I got from this gameplay trailer is that there also seems to be varying sizes of levels. Some levels are going to be very large and scape, where you're going to be going from one area to another in vehicle mode, driving over bridges and through roads and all these different obstacles that you're going through, and then going to different arenas where you're going to be fighting all the sorts of Decepticons that you're coming at. But with all that analysed, I only have one question left involving Transformers Devastation. Are we going to be fighting on Earth only? Or are we also going to have some fights over on Cybertron, the Transformer home planet? It will be interesting to have some Cybertron battles, but I think there is room there for stuff to happen. As for future DLC, who knows what we could bring? We could have Galvatron, we could have Unicron, Rodimus Prime. There is a huge amount of content that could come into this game post-launch, but I'm going to leave those queries and questions for a later time until we hear more information about the game. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I've been able to depict, and that's what we could end up getting our hands on when Transformers Devastation comes out later this fall. But now I leave it open to you. What do you guys think of Transformers Devastation, and what do you think you found in these videos that I haven't been able to find? Let me know what you think in the comments section below, and I'll see you next time for another edition of VGU Talks.